This week we finally managed to get our hands on a Nissan eNV200 Evalia in the 7-seat configuration, courtesy of the Chorley Group Nissan dealership in Burnley, where this vehicle is actually for sale. I've had really mixed reviews from friends and family on the eNV200 styling. It's typically Japanese and is a bit of a Marmite van, but I think based on the fact that it is a van, it is pretty good looking in my opinion. The space in the back is huge. We can chuck our running buggy in without collapsing it. That's amazing. With all the seats folded, you can quite literally walk through the back, and outside of Tesla, there are no other manufacturers offering this size of vehicle as an EV. Fold up the bench seat and you have space for 5 adults. Fold down the rear seats and you have space for 7. Although this is sped up, we timed this at 26 seconds. Not bad at all if time is of the essence. You may think, like many 7-seaters, that the third row is for small children and short journeys, but that's simply not the case. I'm 5'6" and can access the third row easily with this handy fold-down seat, and I feel a long journey would be no issue at all. As you can see, there is still room between my legs and the rear of the second row seats, and you still have an okay size space to use as a boot in the 7-seat configuration. Drinks holders to me are very important and often overlooked, so you'll be pleased to know that every passenger gets one, including these nicely hidden ones for the third row passengers. However, if you want to store a bottle of water in the glove box, good luck with that. The spec inside is pretty similar to that of the Nissan eNV200 van, although you do get heated seats and steering wheel, and the reversing camera, thankfully, is migrated from the driver's instrument cluster to the sat-nav display. On the subject of the sat-nav, it still sadly seems to be lagging behind in updates, and that's pretty consistent with the overall dashboard layout, which is almost identical to that of the original, released 6 years ago. 50 kilowatt DC rapid charging and 6.6 kilowatt onboard is standard, but why this isn't one of these is beyond me.
Good morning and welcome to another episode, and welcome to the Nissan eNV200 Evalia, which we've been using for a week.
About a week, yeah.
About a week. We're about 630 miles in, and it's been, by and large, absolutely fantastic. We've loved it. Well, I've loved it. Have you loved it?
I do like it, but it's a van.
So essentially, it is just a eNV200 panel van. Derived from a Leaf, and they've chucked some seats in the back. But with that, they've done a very good job of it. It's nicely finished. It's got some nice touches, and it's very, very usable. I think from a family perspective, anyway. I'm going to start with all the cons first that I can think of that I've discovered. One is because it's derived from a van, it's got quite a hard suspension ride on the back. If you're the very rear seat passenger, which I have been, it's quite jumpy, and that's because it's got a solid back beam and leaf springs. But if you load it up with 7 people, that's reduced. It's not as bad. If you're one person sat in the back, it's kind of bouncy, but it's not a biggie. It's not a biggie, I don't think.
I think for motorway driving, you'll be fine. If you were using this as like an airport taxi or something, you're mostly going to be on motorways.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that, but obviously we do a lot of country road driving and side road driving, so it is more bumpy.
Yes.
And Florence has been jumping around a bit in the back.
Yeah, I did notice Florence actually doing a little bit of bouncing the other day, and you said it's quite bouncy, didn't you?
And from a driver's point of view as well, and a passenger point of view, it isn't as comfortable, say, as the Leaf equivalent,
yes.
is it?
No.
It's you do notice a difference. But if you're buying this vehicle, you know what you're buying. You're probably buying it for a reason. You know, like you need it for work, or you need it for, I don't know, carting around lots of children.
I think as a taxi, it would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it would be good.
And if I was a taxi driver, without a doubt, I'd have one of these.
We're actually just doing a tip run. We do quite a lot of tip runs. For some reason, we end up with a lot of stuff that needs to go to the tip. And today, it's cardboard.
Oh, that's what the noise is in the back that you can hear.
A lot of cardboard, and this is perfect for that because obviously you can fit so much in the back. And not only have we got all the cardboard in the back, we've got the buggy in the back, we've got Florence in the back.
Yeah.
This doesn't really demonstrate the eNV or the Evalia's potential for load carrying, but to quantify it, I think that this would be a useful addition if you were moving house.
So for versatility, you can't beat this. I think of all the vehicles, even the Tesla Model X, in terms of room space, this is fantastic. You've got the 7 seats, you've got the 2 at the back, and they're proper seats, proper wide, and these can be folded up. You might be able to just see them.
The top of them.
Yeah, you might be able to just see the top of them. They sort of fold up like this at the rear, and they can be unbolted and taken out permanently if you want to. The rear bench here, you can also just fold that forward, and it essentially becomes a van with a bit of carpet in it and a little bit of a nicer finish, which is really, really convenient. It is huge, absolutely huge. So that's a big, big thing for me that I like.
Another big con is the lack of tech. We've recently driven a 2019 Leaf, and it reminded me just how good they are, and the level of technology and just the luxury of it, really. And then you get into the eNV, and you do notice that you're lacking rather a lot. And it does look like a van, doesn't it?
It does.
Inside. It does. I mean, you've got a really nice sat-nav screen, infotainment system. That's great, and you've got heated seats and you've got heated steering wheel, but there's just a lot missing.
Yeah, I'll go with that actually, because I drove that car as well, and the eNV always seems to be a little bit of an afterthought. If you go back to the original van, before they brought out the Evalia, it was a 24 kilowatt hour. Then they brought out a 30 kilowatt hour Leaf. This didn't get a 30 kilowatt hour upgrade.
Yeah.
Then they brought out the 40 kilowatt hour Leaf. They put the 40 kilowatt hour battery in this a while afterwards, but none of the tech seems to have come across. The Leaf that we drove was a Tecna. It had full LED headlights, dip beam and high beam. It's got ProPilot. It's got an upgraded, larger screen sat nav than the earlier Leaf. It seems to be a big gap between what goes on the Leaf and what goes into the van, and it shouldn't be.
Not if you're selling it as a family vehicle.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That I would definitely is a big loss in terms of the van.
Yeah.
They should be equivalent. You know, they should be up to speed, I think.
Maybe they're just trying to keep the costs low though, because obviously this is more anyway than the equivalent Leaf would be, same age.
If you buy a Leaf at this price, you get so much more.
Yeah.
You just get so much more.
You do. And because we were talking about
But don't let that put you off.
But we were talking about whether we could have this as our daily runaround, you know, instead of having a car equivalent, because of the convenience of it, and you know, fitting all of Florence's stuff in the back. But I'm just not sure I could for that reason.
No, I could.
See, we differ on that, don't we? We've discussed this a lot, mainly every time we've driven it.
Yeah.
And I would miss certain things about it.
What else can you think of?
There was something, wasn't there? We talked about it. What was it?
There isn't anything, is there?
No, there was something else. We said it, and we said we must talk about that. The lack of mirrors.
I'll go with that. So you've got these huge sunblinds just here, and on the back it just says airbag. I'd like a mirror with a light. This is a Tecna model, so you would expect that. You would. It's.
That's another thing that makes it feel like a van.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I've got another one.
Go.
I would like an armrest. This is a family vehicle. You're going to be going places. It's got a bigger battery in it to give you more range.
You need an armrest to fight over.
Yeah, or just a fold-down armrest.
Yeah.
Like that, so you're a bit more comfortable. You can do it on your left or your right if you're in the driver's seat, because it's built into the door card. But actually, it's
like a proper van driver.
Yeah.
I think that's it, really.
In terms of cons,
it's just the van aspect of it. All those things all relate to that, don't they?
Yes, they do. Because it's a van, it's got a very high up driving position, so getting in and out is very easy. Actually, probably the easiest of all the vehicles I've ever gotten in and out of. I've always had a soft spot for the eNV van, so this naturally transfers across to the Evalia. It's fantastic for getting in and out of. It's really nice. Loading Florence in and out, side loading doors, one each side, perfect.
As long as you put her on the side.
Yes.
If you put her in the middle, that's a bit tricky. And she does like to be in the middle, doesn't she?
She does like to be in the middle, yeah.
But yeah, either side, getting her in and out is dead easy. And actually, when we get out, you just slide out, don't you?
You do. You step across and then step across to get in. As well.
Yeah.
So it works well.
That is nice.
It's quite an airy place to be, isn't it? Because it's got a lot of glass. So
Yeah, and it's got privacy glass in the back.
It has got privacy glass. So from the outside, on the rear, it's very difficult to see in. And at night, you just can't see in.
No.
You can't.
It's nice though.
So which is a nice touch.
Really good thing. Just coming up to a junction. Regen. Really, really good.
Yes. Yeah, love that. So a little bit more than the Leaf, I'd say.
Do you because it's a heavier vehicle?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't know if it is heavier.
I don't know. It feels heavier, but despite saying that it's heavier, it has got some proper get up and go, hasn't it? Like you put your foot down and it's almost like the Leaf. The torque is still impressive.
Definitely. I think actually it's quicker than the Leaf.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think it feels like it's got the edge.
You need to get hold of a Leaf, have a race.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think to the overall versatility of it?
I think that's fantastic because you've got the option of having it as a family car, like we're using it, a family vehicle, like we're using it. We could fit a lot more people in it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
If we were going on a long journey, we could fit everything we could possibly want in it. No, when we took the Model X down to Wales,
yes,
we had no issue at all with fitting stuff in, did we?
No,
and it would be the same with this. The only difference, obviously, is that the range is a lot shorter than the Model X, but you know.
Good point, actually. That bringing us on to range. So where we stand at the moment is we've got 53%, and I tripped it at 100%. We've done 56 miles, and it's saying we've got 79 miles left. I think an honest range around town for this vehicle is, I'm going to say 120 miles. If you put it on the motorway, it's 100. So you'll need to stop after 100 miles and charge it. I'm actually taking this back tomorrow, and I'll leave with 100% charge tonight. And I'll leave with 100% charge in the morning, and then I'll stop probably Bamber Bridge sort of area, get a charge there, and then that'll take me to Chorley, where this vehicle's come from. So it's good enough, but 100 miles for us is fine, isn't it? Because Florence won't do that.
No, it is good enough. We were talking about going on holiday later this year, and going somewhere far, far away if we could. And we were talking about whether we could use this. And yes, if we were going to be taking Florence and it was during the day, and we probably would want to be stopping every 100 miles. But if we were going to drive through the night with her asleep, we just want to get there. And it's a shame really that they haven't got a bigger range on this.
Yes.
I think it would make a big difference and people who are working as well and travelling at the distance of the country, you know, for work in a van for whatever reason.
Yeah. That's a good point actually, which goes back to the way that the Leaf supersedes this van so much, is that the Leaf now has a 62 kilowatt hour battery in it.
Yeah.
It's on the same floor pan as the original Leaf, so it will definitely fit into this. So why it hasn't already got that?
Don't know.
So if this had a 62 kilowatt hour battery, it's a completely different vehicle.
Yeah.
Probably realistically 170 miles, I think, before you need to stop for a charge. And the Leaf has peak 100 kilowatt charging on the 62. So this would again make this a much more versatile vehicle.
It would, much more sellable vehicle.
Yes, it would. It would.
Especially for those, you know, first-time electric vehicle buyers.
Yes. Okay, so a week in, and with plenty of miles, do you think you could use it as your everyday? Would you prefer just a normal a Leaf over this, or would you have this over a Leaf? Taking away the price and all that, about just the usability and the versatility of it.
If it was my everyday car and I was having to drive it to work and that kind of thing, then I would prefer to have something like an ordinary Leaf, yes.
Okay.
But I can see the pros of this. If this was, I don't know, like our second vehicle that we were going to be using just for holidays, just for getting around, just for taking Florence for runs of the running buggy.
Yeah.
That's different. But if I was going to work in it, I think I'd prefer a standard.
Is it because it's a van?
It is that.
Yeah.
But
okay.
also, you know, I have to look professional in my job.
Okay.
And I'm not sure turning up in a van gives the right impression. But,
Okay.
I mean, besides that, for me, it's the manoeuvrability of it. I have to park in some really, really small places on some little tiny roads, and I need something that I feel confident driving. And perhaps, you know, that would come, wouldn't it, I guess, with practice.
So if you didn't have to do that, if your work didn't dictate that you had to turn up in something that wasn't a van, would
Maybe
you?
then, yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
different.
I certainly would. I'd have this without a doubt, because one, I don't really care what I drive, but two, just the versatility of it. I can use it for anything. When we put the cardboard in to take to the tip, I just literally launched it in, and it was done to shut the tailgate. Job done. It was there. I am frustrated with how the tech lacks compared to the Leaf.
Yeah.
That does frustrate me. I think it's just not fair, especially where the price point is. But I would still have one. I would. I've had a really nice experience with it, and so a couple of the guys that I work with, I asked, keep going for a second. A couple of the guys I work with said it's really nice. They liked it. We got them all inside. We went for a drive, and they loved it. But they said they think the novelty would wear off.
Yes.
And maybe they're right, but I'm not so sure. I do genuinely think that I could live with this.
I don't know. I feel like I'm being the bad cop again, but
You are.
I'm just trying to be...
You're very negative towards EVs these days.
I'm quite realistic, and I think I'm watching Florence bounce around in the back, and I just think, is it? I don't know. Maybe take that out. Am I going in here? No. Carry on.
Carry on.
Turn around.
Say what you're going to say. Sorry.
I try to be quite realistic, and I think that what your friends at work are saying is possibly true. I think that the novelty will wear off, and actually you'll gradually start to miss the technology that you would have with something like a Leaf, and the comfort of the Leaf.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you're right. I do. I think I would miss that, but you've got to weigh up the versatility of this.
You have.
But then, how often you're going to need the versatility of it?
And for how long? As Florence gets older,
Yeah.
we're not going to have all the stuff that we have to carry around now. Okay. We're not going to have the running buggy. So maybe for the next couple of years, yes. But long term, probably not.
The voice of reason. Have we exhausted it? Have we said what we need to say?
I think so. Oh, seats.
Seats.
Seat comfort. We always talk about seat comfort.
You do? Okay, do that.
Actually, they're surprisingly okay. They're almost a bit like... I remember sitting in the transit van with you and it being quite bouncy, but it not being a major issue. I've not done a long distance in this, but they're all right.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they're heated kind of like makes it better, even though they're not as supportive as, say, a Leaf.
I have sat in all the seats here, and these on the bench here are slightly narrower, but still comfortable. I sat in with a couple of lads I work with, both big lads, and we're okay, maybe a little bit squished, but we're okay. Get in the back, leg room's a little bit restricted, but actually they're nice and wide and they're comfortable. So yeah, it was good. Also, one point to note is, people look at this colour of material and they think, no, it'll get so dirty, but actually the material it's made of allows you to scrub it, and you can scrub it with a wet cloth, a bit of fairy liquid, and they'll just come clean. It's very much like the white interior of the Leaf. So yeah, well thought out and nice. I like it, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, I love it. I love it.
I think we have exhausted it though.
Okay.
So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter at Kate Phantom, and we'll see you again soon with another episode.
Florence, say bye-bye.